Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. That's episode number 2901, episode number 2795. This one features two sexy ladies. First we have is Wonder Woman! Paradise Lost, which contains issues 164 through I think it's like 170 of Wonder Woman Volume 2, along with Secret Files one-shot. Now, basically, Phil Jimenez doing the writing and artwork here, co-writings by Joe Kelly and Jay Matias, co-plotters George Perez, David Grayson, the inkers Andy Lang, Adam Hughes has the amazing covers here. So, what happens over the course of these issues? Well, this is Golden Egg, and it's basically guest starring the Batman villains. Yes, for some reason, Jay Matias and Phil Jimenez have a good idea to throw in the Batman villains, have Wonder Woman fight them for an entire story arc. Where you have Scarecrow talking to Poison Ivy. You're like, wait, that's not Poison Ivy. Yeah, it is. And Harley Quinn is involved in this stuff here too. God, I love this art by Phil Jimenez. It's so amazing. And of course, you have Wonder Woman returning to her home with her mom wearing basically her Wonder Woman attire. This was a retcon set by John Byrne. Yes, this happened to John Byrne, which... interesting film is referencing it, and then we have, get this, then we have Batman and the Huntress. This is for the Batman and the Huntress Cry for Blood miniseries. And then we see them watching Maxie Zeus, a guy who thinks he's Zeus, but not really. And there's like a golden egg involved, and everything goes to crapper. And then Ares gets... and of course, you have the gods being captured. Yes, and there's like Chimera. Like, wow, that's also awesome. Yeah, and then we have, get this, the Joker become the god of terror. Yes, Joker possessed one of Ares' sons, Deimos. Yes, the Joker. I found this kind of weird. It's like, okay, let's mix the Batman stuff with Wonder Woman for a whole story. I like that's interesting. Then we also get experienced by Nightwing. Yeah, he's this book too, along with Donna Troy. I mean, the book seems so awesome. It's like freaking badass. Like, I love it. Excellent story. Of course, we also have Tim. Tim's in the arc too. It's like, wow, guest stars galore. Wow, good job, Phil Jimenez and Jamie Diaz. We have Batman being possessed by females. Like, oh, cool. Eventually, thanks to the involvement of Ares, the God of War, which I'm sure this is why Perez basically had to step in here. Actually, no. He had basically, it's the design from the George Perez run, which they still kept here. Yeah. Of course, Cassie's here too. And of course, your questions Cassie, and well, lots of good fighting here. Eventually, everything is dealt with pretty quickly. After a small amount of issues, of course, deal with the wrap up here, testing of their skills. They have a story called Who Was Troya, probably from one of the, and of course and then we have Paradise Lost. So basically, it's called The Gods of Gotham. Yes. Yeah, I found this quite interesting of a story arc. It's really fun. Who would have thunk, though? Yeah, and in case you're curious, I think it takes up... So, The Gods of Gotham, it's a 4-part story arc that takes up 164 to 167. That's the opening story arc here. But yeah, fun stuff here. And then we have 168, which is the Paradise Lost stuff. Paradise Lost is a 2-parter. Yes. Yep. It's a very interesting story, basically, what this one is. So, it takes up 168, 169. Basically, the whole thing is basically debating where, of course, the conclusion of this thing is that Hippolyta would join the GSA. And it's stuff here with Fury, who is, yes. Yeah, Fury is turned into a villain for some reason. Yeah, Fury, which is the not the original Fury. Oh no, this is, well, Post Crisis is the original one. Yeah, she debuted in Supergirl 12. Apparently, the Fury people know of is Lila Hall. Yeah, she is the daughter of this character. Yeah. So basically, they turned her into a villain for these 2 issues. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting 2-part that George Perez just happened to get involved with. Yeah. Plus, the cover of issue 169 is the cover of the trade. Mm-hmm. And then, pretty much in the way 170 is a standalone issue about Wonder Woman and Lois Lane. I'm like, okay, interesting. Yeah, really fun set of issues. But what about the Secret Files and Origins? This is the one they have in here is number. It is number 2. Yep, that's what they have in here. And you might be thinking, is the whole thing in here? Well, they have Lost Pages, who is for Troya. Now, is the whole one-shot collecting this trade? Well, you're about to find out. I know I know who is Troya. Now that's in here. They put that between Gods of Gotham and the Paradise Lost story. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's any other stories in here. She's a wonder. Yeah, it doesn't really collect the whole story. I would say just the Who is Troya. I mean, that's in trade. You might think, is anything else in trade aside from Who is Troya? No, just the Who is Troya. It's only just a few pages, and that's the only thing they included in here. Was this one story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. It's just that that's kind of how it is here. Mm-hmm. But great stuff here. Love this. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Yep. Now you might be curious though. Is this the end of Phil Jimenez's time with the book? Excuse me. In the case of Wonder Woman, no. This is not the end of his run. This is just the start of his run. Of course, I did review the next 7 issues, and the rest of this is collected in like an omnibus. The Paradise Found just probably has this Fragments issue 3. Yeah, and get this. Apparently, the next trade that was ever released was, as a Paradise Found, was Down to Earth, which collects Greg Rucka's run. Of course, other trades from this run has come out. Yes, there has been. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that the George Perez run, that is entirely on trade. That's a 100% definite. Now you might be curious though, is Willie Master Lopes, is his whole run, is that in trade? Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but not a lot of this runs in trade. No. Like, the Rucker run, that's been collected twice now. First in, like, several other trades and, like, new ones. The element is he does have, there's an omnibus to collect collect this whole run, but you might be curious to, like, okay, so is the whole run in trade? Like, is the entire thing in trade? For volume 2. I'm looking right now. The answer is no. I would say the first 136 is in trade. I would say definitely that 160, 161, 164 to 177, and 189 to 226. That's all in trade. But there's a small chunk that's not in trade. Basically, 136 to 159, that is not in trade. 162, 60, which we discussed last comic corner, that's not in trade. And 178 to 188 is also not in trade. As to the reason for this, I have no idea. I have no idea indeed, but excellent book. Love it. So you got Amazing Adam Hughes Network. Next up we have is Invisible Woman. Not Invisible Girl, Invisible Woman. Yes. Sue Richards' first and only miniseries she's ever had of her own. Yeah, I get the fact thing is an ongoing series. I think Johnny's had he had a solo run in Strange Tales. He had a brief ongoing in the 2000s, but that's it. Sue's not anything of her own. I like the fact they have something. It's by Mark Waid, and the arc here is done by Mattia de Ulos. Now, they revealed in this book here that she was a part-time agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Due to the fact that she was working for Fantastic Four, and her boss was Nick Fury Sr., the white Nick Fury. Yep. And then, over the years, she just didn't do much for secret missions. I mean, she did secret missions because she has his powers. Yep, that's pretty much the way. I don't mind that at all, but here's something really, really dumb. So, she's requested to come in by the CIA to inform her about there's a hostage crisis overseas where these students become captive at the American embassy over there, and like also a friend of hers has gone missing, which he mentioned Stormy, which was her nickname, and she's like, okay, when are we gonna go rescue him? He's like, you're not going to rescue him. And she's like, what? Why am I not going to rescue him? He doesn't give a reason why, and apparently, for some strange reason, his involvement in the whole thing with the hostage thing is apparently the only way kept alive. And later on when he's seen, he's like, his assistant's like, I'm updated. He's like, I hope your update is that the hostages are home. He's like, no, they're not. It's the Invisible Woman has gone missing. Yeah, so Sue decides to, on her own, go rescue her friend. Because the CIA does not want to do anything with this at all. So, she basically dusts off an old plane. Like, take out the mothballs. And then she's confronted by Nick Fury Jr. Now, I call bullcrap on what he calls himself. He refers himself as a colonel. I'm like, when the heck will you be a freaking colonel, Junior? Yes, it's almost like reading this. It's almost like that Mark Waid really wanted the white Nick Fury in the present day. But I'm sure he's probably told, no, you can't do that because he's on the moon. Yeah, because the way he's written here, It's written like it's the white Nick Fury. Now, people have had their issues with the black Nick Fury over the years. Well, not the Ultimate version. People love that one. It's the inclusion of the 6161 that people have a problem with. The reason why, because his character was forced everybody because Nick Fury is black in the movies, let's make him black in the comics, even though we already did that. It's called Ultimate Nick Fury. He's based upon Samuel Jackson, and they've had this one based on Samuel Jackson too, even though the second one we've had with him. Yeah, I thought the whole idea of this is so dumb. By the way, he made his debut only 13 years ago. Wait, in miniseries, I have a review called Battle Scars. She goes overseas, does like a little bit of spy stuff, and she runs into the Black Widow. I'm like, interesting. Now here's the thing. Of course, Nick Fury does mention she was gone. That was due to Secret Empire. And a lot of people have criticized Mara for that. Since basically Secret Empire is between Secret Empire, for the most part, from what I read and from what I've heard, though I accept one person I've heard who actually liked the event, Secret Empire was awful. It was one of the worst Marvel events in history, and it was the third year in a row with a freaking delay. Yes, Marvel had this thing with their Sun events for 3 years in a row. We had to have delays. First, it was Secret Wars. Then Civil War 2 had one. And then Secret Empire had one too. But of the three, Secret Wars had no reason to explain why the delay. Civil War 2, there was a reason because Arthur became a father. Secret Empire, no reason at all. Lucky enough, they finally stopped doing that after 2018. Thank God. So there's more spy work, or she runs to her old friend. And then later on, she's confronted by Maria Hill, who is a retainer for the CIA at this point. No long director of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was the last director of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way, before the whole Hydra took over. And she tells the Invisible Woman, Susan Richards, you're arrested for treason. And you read this like, based on what? Because she's helping a friend? Like, did she sell secrets to the enemy? Did she threaten to kill a politician? And I'm like, this comes from the CIA. Now, I'm thinking like, okay, so you read this, you're like, why in the world is Maria Hill? Now, Maria Hill, there's a reason because she needed to work for some government agency, so why not the CIA? Despite the fact that it's somewhat controversial at times, because people have heard about them over the years. We're like, so they want to arrest her for treason, and here's the thing, they never explain what she did. And Sue's like if I was here with Sue, I would say, bullcrap, Maria, what is your evidence? Do you have any evidence that she committed treason against the United States? Or basically you're doing this because, well, I think anybody reading this can tell that the other reason why they're saying that Sue Richards committed treason is because the agent who probably told her about this, at least the second director, probably did this because he wants to cover his own rear end. Yes, seriously. And of course, and it turns out Adrian sort of betrays the mission, kind of, and he sort of kills himself, and the hostages are released, no problem. Yes, Sue rescues the hostages, no problem, and brings them home, no problem. And I'm like, okay, why couldn't you send Sue to do this in the first place? And by the way, the whole thing with her being accused of treason, that's like dropped immediately. It's almost like that was put there for shock value. Yes. Now, is this miniseries bad? No. No, it's not. It's just that it has some problems with the writing. The artwork is fantastic in the book. Oh my gosh, the artwork is gorgeous. Oh, I love the first line here. Papers, please. That was also in the video game, by the way. Linkara did, or like Louis Lopog did a review of the, he did a live stream of the game. Yeah. And the book is it also revealed that And apparently this embassy is in Markovia. And of course, this Adrian is actually just married to a woman named Colleen Tentrich. Yes, believe it or not, the guy's name is Adrian Tentrich. Tentrich. And I'm like, what kind of name is Tentrich? Like, here's the thing. Did Mark Waid basically pull this name out of basically nothing? But the biggest thing that I love about this book is the spy aspect. I have this funny scene here I forgot to mention. The painting is gone! There's like panicking over a stolen painting! Yes! And the fact that Invisible Woman takes a woman hostage. Yeah, and then of course, this is funny, also funny, where a guy with a croquet, yes, a croquet, yes, I'll play croquet, so I know exactly what this thing is, who tries to whack Sue with it, and it breaks, and she's like, may I help you? Invisible force field. Yeah, it turns out the woman she'll gag, get this. So, she put something in Sue's drink that allows it to shut off her eyes. What? Yeah, this is so freaking dumb. Yeah, and then of course Sue gets back her eyes anyways by using her force field. And yeah, it was like, yeah, very easy. Under authority of Director Belthorpe, you're under arrest for treason against the United States. And of course, she was like, Maria, listen to me. It was like, explain your ex-partner is the wild card. The whole thing with this is like so freaking dumb. Yeah, it's like basically a good premise, and then like, oh, let's accuse the hero of the book of treason, and then have the plane be shot down over an enemy airspace. Yes. Korea. Which, it's like, they basically depict this as, oh, the Mars version of Russia, even though they already have version of Russia. Then Maria talks to Sue, and then she walks off, and that's kind of the miniseries, in a nutshell. Not terrible. It's good. I like it. It's just that I would say up until the ending of issue 4, it seems like throughout the first half of this miniseries, it's really good. But then you get the second half, it's like it just falls apart. It's like, what? Yeah, and like I said, my reaction to Maria Hill of like, okay, so you are arresting her for treason. And my response is, based on what? The fact that she's working with her ex-partner to free hostages? Yeah, the whole thing with this was a mess. Like, the whole in-story thing. It's like, did Wade basically do this on purpose where he kind of ruined his own miniseries? It's like, you read this, you're like, okay, so what was the purpose of the ending of this miniseries? Like, it was nice seeing Maria Hill again. I love the character. I get the fact some people don't. It's like, now you're probably curious though, how long did this miniseries come out? Of course, this came out during the slot run in the book. Yeah, this came back in 2019, roughly 5 years ago. Yes, believe it or not, 5 years ago. And those who might be curious though, did Adrian Tentrich, did he create a book for this one? No, he never did. His wife only appeared for just one issue, and that was it. Yeah. Sue, of course, will go back to Fantastic Four right after this. But what about Maria Hill herself? What did she do after this miniseries? Well, it seems like after Secret Empire, it just seems as though Marvel has no idea what to do with this character anymore. She was vital to Marvel Comics for a long time. And then, like, as soon as Secret Empire wrapped up, what did she do? Oh, she popped up in, like, I think it was after the Civil War II tie-in, she popped up in Jessica Jones for some reason. Because she got shot and she ended up in Jessica Jones' bathroom. I mean, this one was everywhere. And like, okay, so she fought a little bit with Memphis Iron Man, Jessica Jones. Okay, so after this miniseries, her next appearance was in 2020 Force Works. Yes. Where she was in the opening and the last issue of the miniseries, issues 1 and 3. And two issues of Taskmaster where she apparently died. I'll discuss later. Basically, also issue Ant-Man. This was, I think this is a Zeb Wells run. No, this is the Al Ewing. Then she was vital to Secret Invasion Volume 2, a couple issues of Fantastic Four. Believe it or not, her last known appearance was part of the CIA in issue 17 of Fantastic Four by Ryan North, which came out earlier this year. That was, in fact, her last known appearance to date. You're like, really? Yes, really. Like, her last known appearance was in Fantastic Four that came out back in March. Yeah, and before that, she was in I Am Iron Man for a couple issues. Yeah. You're like, huh, interesting. I don't know exactly the reason for it all. Yeah. Yeah, and prior to that, she was trying to arrest Sue in the year prior in Fantastic Four for crimes, alleged crimes. And you read the book like, why is Maria Hill trying to arrest Sue for? Yeah, it's so freaking dumb. Yeah. So, not much to say about these two books. So, that's pretty much it, particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the like button. Next up we have is My Hero Academia, which that's quite interesting to discuss. Okay? Next video. Bye.